I'm out of focus. Hang on. Hi, everyone. I guess we're gonna start this stream. Hey, I'm Frankie. If you don't know, my name is Frank. I'm the producer. You see that, right? You see that the music credit and the title of this shot are overlapping. I thought this was a professional operation. What's going on? Who's responsible? What do you mean I am? Oh yeah, I am. I'm the producer. That's my job. I'm sorry. Hello, Travis. Hello, everybody. Hello, Scarlett. I see you. I should fix that. That's my responsibility. I'm gonna fix it. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna fix it.
That's not doing this live is a whole other thing.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? Look at that. I'm in 60 frames per second. This is new. You never see that. I look much less convincing in this light. It's not good. Not a studio.
How you doing, everyone? I thought it would be nice to get Frankie out. Also, I noticed the problem with with the thing. I wasn't expecting Frankie either, and I noticed the problem with the title on the puppet cam shot, which we never use. So I thought, we'll get Frankie out.
It's a treat for everybody. This guy is not a ventriloquist. Don't look. Just don't look. I'm good. Andre, hello. Nice to see you here. This is what you do? This is easy.
Okay, I'm gonna put Frankie away now. Before Frankie just takes over everything. Hi, everybody. We're doing it again.
I'm not gonna stop talking like Frankie now. Oh boy.
Off to a flying start. I'm good. How are you all? It's true. It's true. My arm is already, and I'm working out these days. I got some muscles now, and even just that little bit is like, oh, okay, that's enough. That's enough. Everyone's only gonna stick around for Frankie, right? Oh wow. I'm caffeinating. So if y'all are on the Discord or have read any of my social media posts this morning, you know that there's good news. Good news, everyone. 12 hours. Oh, right. Yeah, well, you know, doing anything for 12 hours, right? So there's good news. Those of you who are familiar with the history of, I think I talked about this last week as well, with the new podcast. Hang on. Pixels and Puppets. Doing this. You know how many times I've gotten the I can see your lips moving, causing me to explain I'm not a ventriloquist? Exactly. There is a big difference. It's a whole other skill set. I mean, look at every interview with Jim Henson ever. Jim wasn't a ventriloquist either. Didn't matter. Thank you, Scarlett. Yeah, so the podcast, I had said when we launched the podcast, if you've been reading the blog, you know about this, that if we could get to 100 downloads, and that's between the 2 episodes that are released, between the time that we released episode 1 and the time we record episode 2, get to 100 downloads, I was going to get myself a new mic. There's a mic that I really want, but I need to justify the expense. And I set the number 100 because I honestly didn't think we were going to hit that, because we're very small and this is all very niche, and you know, it's a tiny little drop in the bucket. Didn't think we were going to get there. I'm like, yeah, we'll never hit 100. Forget it. Well, last night, as I slept, we hit 107. Hang on, I'll tell you what it currently is. I think it's gone up since then even. Live stat looking up. This is exactly why everyone's here, right? 111. We're currently at 111. Oh boy, which is amazing. Like I really didn't expect we were going to get there. Thank you, Pinecone. So, Andre, sometimes do live streams on my channel too. Good. You know what? Drop a link. I'm all about promoting people who do these things. So yeah, with the podcast is officially, according to my internal metric, a success, which is fantastic. And I ordered the mic this morning. I don't know if it's going to be here in time. We're recording the next episode on Friday, so I don't know if it's going to be here in time. Probably not. But nevertheless, was fantastic news to wake up to. What a good start to the morning. So as a result, we're kind of celebrating today. In terms of my workload, I'm kind of in coasting mode because I do have a build that I'm working on for the shop. It is not time dependent, and it's only going to take a few more days. So today I can kind of take a little breath. I've been going at it hammer and tongs for about 3 weeks. So I'm being, you know, cash. It'll be delivered mid-podcast. I hope not, because we don't start recording podcasts until 8 p.m. Or the guys show up at 8 p.m. We usually have a drink or 2 or 3, and then we start recording. So we're usually not at the table until about 9. So if it shows up at 9 p.m., you know, not entirely impossible, but unlikely. So that means, just catching up on chat here, or 7, yeah, no. I'm still in weight loss mode, so I'm still carefully budgeting calories. In terms of today, what we're doing today is I haven't quite decided, because I'm taking a bit of a breather from standard shop builds. I'm building another ogre, which is what we built last week as well on stream. So, you know, it'll be more of the same. But what I think I'm gonna do is, I mean, if there's anything y'all want to see, let me know. But I think setting fire to things, no. Nope. I mean, it's not impossible. Sometimes we use fire, as you know very well. I've been working on a build like literally since before New Year, just kind of casually. Those of you who know about the history of the Oracle know that as I've been doing the new season is now old, but doing the current season, I've been slowly reintroducing old characters that were originally not my designs, are not built by me, and I'm making a new iteration of them, and I'm building new versions of them. And so, we've got Frankie and the Oracle and Jelly Roll and now Gus. So we have some more characters yet to come. And the one I'm currently working on that will be on an upcoming episode of the Oracle is Frankie's little nephew, Murray. And so I've been sort of very, very slowly just kind of building the new Murray. And I think that's probably what we're going to carry on doing today, just because it's kind of a free day of whatever you feel like doing. So I think that's what we're going to do. So let me have some more coffee. Pixels and Pup. That reminds me. You know what? We haven't even thought of what the contest is going to be. So on episode 2, which will be recorded this Friday, of Pixels and Puppets. Huh? I know. Kermit's staring right into the camera. I might move him. It got a little moved around in some cleaning I did recently. And so he is kind of staring directly into the camera. I see Jamie typing on Discord. Hello, Jamie. We are going to give away 5 of these coffee mugs with the Pixels and Puppets logo on one side and the Operation Puppet logo on the other side. With you virtually, having worked in a server room with hearing protection on. Oh, wow. So tuning the stream would be fruitless. Yeah, no worries, JB. You know what I don't have running is the closed captions, and I apologize for that. I just realized that. I should get that going again. Slowly move Kermit's hands and fingers during the stream. But very slowly, so it's not really perceptible. But if you watch it in time lapse, it'll look like. Oh, okay. Hey, don't be. Yeah, okay. You guys will have to translate. You guys in real time. You can transcribe everything I'm typing. Koya, hello, nice to see you. Anyway, what I need to do is we collectively need to figure out what the contest is going to be. It's got to be something easy. Well, not easy, but you're gonna have to listen to the podcast to learn what it is, and I'll brainstorm that at some time soon. Do y'all have any ideas? Let me know. But yeah, there's going to be 5 of these mugs up for grabs. I will pay the shipping just for listening to the podcast. Woo! I'm good, Koya. We're in a whole thing here. Dragon accent. Yeah, okay. Zep, you're doing a good job. Thank you. Okay, one thing we're gonna do. Hang on. While I'm standing up here. All right, Kermit. It is time. It is time to make you slightly less creepy. There we go. Just not staring directly into the camera. That's a little better. His arm's hanging down in a weird way. I'll have to fix that at some point. Since Jamie's watching, but he can't hear. Mugs for Jamie and Andrew as well. They're gonna get them on Friday. Don't tell him. We'll see if he watches the VOD. It's true. He's kind of staring at the Oracle staff now. So anyway, Murray, that's what we're going to work on, I think. And what I have to do next, let me show you where we are currently with Murray 2.0 here. Forgive me, camera here, but so here is the existing Murray 2.0. Not a lot to see. Hey everybody, I've forgotten that. There we go. There's Murray's voice. You haven't done it in a long time, and it's a lot like Frankie, but young. I'm probably gonna do some fur shaving on Murray's face. Although it's fun to have Murray kind of floppy. I don't know, I'll do some styling or something. So what we got to do, so the basic body is here, and we got to do the arms. I think is what's next. Contest should be to get as far away from Jamie as possible. He's got no eyeballs. No, that's I'm still kind of deciding what I want the eyes to be like. I think they're probably going to be like, because Murray is very high energy, right? I think they're probably going to be like big and wide open. But the hands are the thing I'm having some internal debates about. Also the color. So here's my plan with the hands and with the features in general. So Murray 1.0 didn't have any ears, and we even made a joke about that on the Oracle about him not having ears. A lot of eyeballs, several dozen. No, I don't think so. Under the panel, Steve Whitmire had Keeter, my bird puppet. Oh wow, with me, and a lady in line asked me to turn his head because he was staring directly into her eyes and creeping her out. Yeah, it's a thing. It is a whole thing. I can totally understand that. Are you going through arm rods? Yes, Murray's going to be arm rods. But so Murray 1.0 didn't have ears. This Murray's going to have ears. I mean, Murray's growing up. His ears came in, But what I have to decide on was what color the ears are going to be. And also I'm going to do fur hands, but fleece fingers. And there's a couple of ways to do that. And that's one of the things I think we're going to be working on today. But within the color is the question. Now, Frankie's got the purple ears. I think I might do orange with Murray though. I think the orange and the gray might go well together with the ears. And I think his ears are going to be like they're going to be the opposite of Frankie, because Frankie's point down. I think Murray's going to point up. Pink is a possibility. Oh, you know what? I do have pink. I have some pink. So here's another little inside secret. Another character we're going to be introducing at some point, whenever I can build it, is Murray's mother, who is Frankie's sister, Edie. Edie is going to be very pink. Edie's going to be like a hot pink. And so since this is Murray's mother, pink might not be a bad choice. Who has the new tip? You know what? The thing is, this is polar fleece, so it's not my number one choice. I don't have any non-polar pink. I was originally thinking orange, but now that you mentioned the pink isn't bad. Maybe we'll do pink. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I have a technique in mind that I haven't done for doing the fleece fingers and the fur hands. And that's basically to make the hands as I usually make them, which is tracing them on the machine, and then I'm gonna make basically a fingerless glove out of fur, and then just poke the fingers up through it rather than doing each individual finger. Hello, Dorak, how you doing? So I think maybe this wouldn't be a bad experiment. So even if I decide to change it up later, I'll just make new arms. But we'll do it. We'll try it with this. I think pink is a good idea. I like the pink, so we're gonna go with the pink. If we end up changing it later for some different fleece, then that's what we'll do. But we're gonna start here. I think that's not a bad idea. Get that to look a little more square. Whew. Okay, so what this means is we need to start out making some hand plates. And I'm gonna do Murray's hands like my standard. Unfortunately the camera's a bit wonky, so this is gonna look off center. This is actually square to how I'm sitting. It's just not square to the camera, but yeah. Deal with it. There we go. We'll do that with the mat and it'll look square. So I need to make some hand plates. Now everybody who knows me knows that I do the 2 fingers and a thumb thing. Frankie's got that, the Oracle's got that, Murray's gonna have it as well. So I'm gonna use my standard Greebly hand pattern. So let me just grab that.
Nice to have the music back. Where did that go? Here we are. It's one of my most used patterns and I keep misplacing it. Should probably pay more attention. So in this case, we only need the hand part. And there we go. There's the hand part. Just pull the Swedish Chef and use your fingers. Yeah, that's creepy. I'm sorry. It always got to creep me out a bit. I'm doing okay. You know, we're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. But what I do need, oh, you know what? I also need the template for the hand plate. Plate. All kinds of plates. Now where did I put that? Again, one of my most used patterns that I'm always, because I use it so much, I don't always remember to put it back where I got it from, which is like the first lesson you learn. Kindergarten. I think I'd remember. For me, kindergarten was like a million years ago. So. All right, there we go. There's the hand plate. Template, so we need some plastic to make the hand plates out of. And I'm just gonna use my old flexible cutting mat. They're easy to work with, so. They're not necessarily my favorite material for making hand plates out of, but they're easy to cut, so. Indie's Keep, hello! Is he really the Danish chef in Sweden? I didn't know that. I feel like I should have known that. Grab a Sharpie, and we're just gonna start. Just need a couple hand plates here. Real simple. Ah, look at all these people. This is amazing. So we're just gonna trace that out. This is one of those situations where accuracy is, you don't really need to worry too much about it. There we go. I'm not used to only making one puppet at a time now. It's really weird. I usually try and do things in pairs now because I have 2 shops. So I'm used to doing 4 of these at a time now too. Yeah, it's like you're popular or something. I know. What? It's so weird. This is the nice thing about these flexible cutting mats is you could just use a pair of shears to cut them out with rather than getting the Dremel out or something. What they lack in structural integrity, they make up for in convenience. This is what I usually make most of my mouth plates out of, unless I'm doing a live hands, in which case I'll do it out of wood. But most, like Greeblies and Smalls, they're all the mouth plates are made out of these flexible cutting boards because they're flexible. You can also do the nice cribbity crunchy things with them. Very handy and not expensive. Okay, so we got that. Now we need to make some holes in these. Food is occurring. It's important. Oh, sorry, I just got an email I might need to look at. Nope, all good. Okay. So what I need to do to make these holes is I usually just use a punch. In order to use the punch, I need to get cutting board out here because I got to put this in there. This I used to use for leather dyeing. This is all leather dyeing. I used to do
leather tooling. So this is all just leather dye on here. If you were wondering what the heck that was. Find my leather punches, which is I'll use a lot of the stuff I used to use for leather tooling is useful for puppet building as well. Tools in general are multi-purpose. It turns out. Who even knew? So you can use a leather punch like one of these leather punches. One of these. They're not great, I find. Doing this with the actual stamps is a bit more reliable, I find. It could be a big bang. Just go with it. Did that crack? That cracked, didn't it? It cracked. Oh boy, this is very crackable plastic. We'll work with it. That cracked pretty bad. I may cut another one. Up to the strength of 10 men. I'm too powerful. Make another one. I'm gonna make another one. That crack is too much. It cracked right to the edge there, so that's not good. I may have spammed you across the Discord line. Let's see if I get some people. Uh-oh. Thank you. Did the hammer crack? No, it was the plastic itself, which is usually fine because I'm gonna glue it together anyway. But it was too much because I gotta get in there and twist the wire. So that was not ideal. It's just a little bit. It's fine. We'll do it again, and I'll try to be a little more gentle this time. Sometimes the flex on the cutting boards is a good thing. Sometimes they're not as flexible as you think they should be, and they do stuff like that. You just got to work with it. We should get a plane to fly a banner out across Belgium. Yeah, if you don't know about the Belgium thing, I think I talked about this last week. On our stats for the podcast, I should just set up a trigger this every time I say the word podcast that comes up. It gets breakdowns by country, and a country does not appear on the list unless it has at least one download. But for some reason, since the beginning, Belgium has been on the list with 0 downloads. If a country has 0 downloads, it just should not appear on the list. But for some reason, Belgium, and only Belgium, is showing up as 0. So our mission is now to get at least one person in Belgium to download the podcast. It's the windmill at which we tilt. This is the one I gotta be careful with. Not too close to the edge. There we go. We got it. So, put this stuff away. If they don't download, they don't get no waffles. Exactly. I'm gonna file down these edges a bit. They're not sharp, but I don't like having any kind of edges that might eat away at foam. So even though this isn't a shop build, this is just a build for me, I still like to maintain a degree of quality at least. There we go. So I'm just gonna file this stuff down. Do a targeted YouTube, Twitter ad for Belgium. It only says in Google Translate, subscribe to podcast. Like, yep. I don't know. That takes financial investment. I want to conquer Belgium organically. I mean, I'm serious. Episode 2 of the podcast is just going to be called Belgium.
Take that, algorithm.
I should point out, those of you who have read the daily blog at operationpuppet.com, that is relatively new. One of the things that tipped us over the 100 download mark is Mastodon. I've been evangelizing about Mastodon, so I won't go into it in detail, but I know there's a hurdle to it. But once you get over that hurdle, it is pretty darn good. It's probably as good as any social media can be. Just because there's no algorithms, there's nothing predatory going on, no one's trying to sell you anything, no one's selling your data, it's just people. And that's nice, particularly if you get on a good server that's got good attentive admins who will block. This is the thing, you get on a good server that's proactive about toxic content and hate speech. They block whole instances, right? So you just never see it, even on the federated timeline. You never see it. So that's my advice. Do a little research, find a good server, get you on Mastodon. In fact, the video that I have planned that Murray is going to star in is going to be a Mastodon explainer to help people understand what Mastodon is and get on it, because it is my new hotness. It is my new fave thing. Okay, there we go. So we've got some nice hand plates ready to go, and of course, to go along with that, we need the finger wires. So I've got this twisted wire, and I've already twisted. Just get this trending. Yeah. Uh-oh. Scarlett, are you like running stuff through Google Translate? What are you doing? French is big. There is a French Belgium, right? Like the Poirot thing. It's the only thing I know about Belgium is Poirot, which is terrible. I should know more. Excuse me, I'm gonna get some gum. That's French, Dutch, and German. Oh, French, Dutch, and German. Gotcha. Let's just go to Belgium.
Road trip, everybody.
You know what I think I want to do before I get to the wire cutting is I'm gonna cut out some of the foam hands. That should be next. Also, put this template back in the place that I know where it is. I can find it. I'm gonna get off the plane in Belgium and just go, where are the waffles?
One thing we know about Belgium is we want waffles served by Poirot.
Let me get Murray out of the way as well. So I gotta get some foam. Excuse me, I'll be off camera a bit here. Now that we no longer have the Robo Follow Cam. It may come back, I'm not sure. You tell me, was the Robo Follow Cam a good thing or a liability? I'm trying not to waste foam, so I'm going to try and just cut out what I need. They have 1,000 beers.
Well, that's nice for you, but not for the award-winning diabetic here.
This doesn't need to be super precise, it's just kind of a guide. We need 4 of these, 2 for each hand.
Love a new Sharpie.
I literally have 1 left and then I have to buy a new box. I keep going through these. Funnily enough, when you build a lot of puppets, you go through a lot of Sharpies. Warm in the studio, but I don't want to open the window quite yet. Well, we're going to have to if we get too far into this hand-making thing, because we're going to have to get the barge out. But we got a bit of a snowstorm happening out there right now, and I don't want to open the window and have it freeze open. That would suck. One, two, three, four. Okay, yeah. Focus. All right, here we go. So these I usually just use foam shears to cut out with, because precision isn't super important with these, because the fleece holds these in shape, so I'm not gonna stress too much about keeping sharp angled corners or anything. You just have to kind of get in the zone. Once again, forgive me, I'm standing up because I gotta put this big old roll of foam away. That's another thing, this is my last of my roll of foam. I gotta order some more and hopefully it will be in stock. Foam, kind of polyfoam, is not always in stock, even at the big box stores that I get it from, so we shall see. I have a couple of sources. So I've yet to be left high and dry. I've not been foamless yet, but that's a possibility. I do have a big roll of reticulated as well, but for stuff like this, I generally use polyfoam. Okay, how are we doing with the stream quality? That's something I haven't checked, but it's okay. No drop frames. Like I said, for these, since you don't have to worry too much about, obviously try and make them as tidy as you can, but you don't have to be too obsessive. So I just cut them out with scissors. And get my garbage pail out here, and I'm gonna cut these over the garbage pail so you won't actually see what I'm doing. But just because the foam bits fall off, and I just want to make sure they land in the garbage. And I don't have a camera set up below the desk, which we're all grateful for. Nobody wants that. That's for the Patreon subscribers. Joke, we don't actually have a Patreon. Slug fan, hello. Yeah, it's not that kind of live stream. Definitely not. This is the PG-13 stuff. We do, FYI, if you've listened to episode 1 of Pixels and Puppets, we do use adult language on that. That is one of the few places in the entire repertoire of Operation Puppet where it is not PG-13. Just because I'm media trained. I have trained swearing out of my common vernacular, but I am not going to ask that of everybody. So we let our hair down, as it were, metaphorically. We got to set a goal, like a reward or something, for 200 downloads now. See, the thing is, that 100 download metric was, of course, across the 2 episodes that have been released. So that's divided by each episode. But we should probably do it episode by episode now. Oh, I don't know. maybe not. Maybe we'll just like we'll set a goal that is exponentially larger, right? So like the next goal should be 300 downloads. What will we do then? Good question. I haven't even figured out the coffee mug contest yet. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. We're recording on Friday. Kind of important to figure it out before then. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I've been meaning to do a blog post about my whole adult language policy on Operation Puppet and why I don't use it in most. Like, I never use it in the Oracle. Never use it in anything where there's actually a puppet. That's the thing. I mean, and if there is, like the Frankie Play streams, for example, Frankie ain't the one swearing. You know what I mean? And I think that's important. It's a personal choice, but it's something I feel strongly about. Okay. Wow, we're getting through this much faster. We're doing the thing that every puppet builder dislikes. We're building hands. What are we doing? Yeah, well, and one of the things that I'm going to talk about in the blog post, if I do get around to that, is I think my writing and the quality of the comedy is just funnier. Like if you can't be funny without swearing, then you're not funny. That's it. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with swearing, but in this context, I don't think it adds anything. I think if anything, it takes it away and it limits your audience and limits what you're doing. And there's a kind of unsavory atmosphere to it when you're doing it. You're doing adult comedy with puppets and like the whole Happy Time Murders thing and all that. I'm not into that stuff. I think there's a real ugliness to that is contrary to the spirit of it. But again, personal choice. No aspersions on anybody who works in that field. This. Sometimes yeah, that looks better. Okay, there we go. So now we got to get the wire out and make the fingers. Grab this pre-twisted wire. I prepared like a cooking show ahead of time. Yeah, it's true. It does force you to be more creative, right? It's like the whole idea that if you don't swear, it's like you're putting a restriction, or it's not. It is, if anything, swearing makes you less likely to be creative. I got Sharpie all over me. I may have to go wash my hands before I handle any fabrics. Anyway, but that's what. Yes, nice. That's what I have always recommended to people who are like, trying to write comedy is put restrictions, or even directing, or like anything. Put some even artificial restrictions on what you can do, and it forces you to be more creative, right? This is it's what I call the Phantom Menace syndrome, right? It's like suddenly you can do anything you want, and that's not necessarily always a good thing. Having limitations forces you to think creatively. So that's my piece. What I gotta say about that. Okay. So the way I usually do this is I just kind of eyeball it and just sort of measure it. We want to go almost to the tip. of the finger, but not quite. So I usually just measure the length by eye. Snap off a piece, put a little fish hook in the end. Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Like, particularly with what I do with Operation Puppet, I want it to, like, I want a parent, no matter who they are, to feel comfortable putting your kid down in front of this, even though the show may not be a kid's show. It's the Muppet Show idea, right? It's like, we're gonna make this good for everybody to participate in, right? It's part of being inclusive. So no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with adult humor in and of itself. It's just contextual. That's been my guiding kind of philosophy with the humor level of the Oracle. It's the Muppet Show thing. It's like, this has gotta, kids should be able to watch this and enjoy it, but also there's jokes in there for the adults. Kids may not get all the references. It's, you know, it's something for everyone. And I think that's a healthy position. You know, Stuck Plan, I don't think I have seen your videos. I will make sure that I correct that. I put this hand plate upside down. Now I have to compensate. Oh boy. Hang on. Is this going to work? No. You know what? This is not. I think I can fix it. Hang on. Put the hand plate in upside down. Oops. What size wire do I use? So this is, I think, 18 gauge. It doesn't say 19 gauge. This is 19 gauge stainless steel. That's my usual. 18 gauge will work as well. You can get like a florist, like wire that's used for making flower arranging and stuff like that. That works well too. This is generally the kind of, you know, the sweet spot. Oh, you know what? Hang on. What if I do it like this? Nope, they're both wrong. Kevin, see, you're talking and you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Frankie is always the angel and demon on my shoulder. Frankie is my super ego. I always watch it over and commenting on everything I do. It's a little crowded in here, gotta say. All right, there we go. We're fine. Everything's fine. Carry on as if nothing bad happened. Yes, there we go. And we can still use this. Have you ever played Spiritual the Dragon? Do you mean Spyro? Isn't that a Sega, I want to say? I have not, but I am aware of its existence. I know that's a very unsatisfying answer. Spyro, yeah. No, I haven't. Platformer, right? Go. Oh, it's for PlayStation, right? Yes, of course. All I knew is it was an Xbox. Might have been Game Boy, actually. You just played on the DS. Okay. Yes, Travis, it is. Oh, that reminds me. I don't know if anybody's watching on Facebook right now. This is probably your final reminder, Facebook, even if you're watching the VOD. The Facebook streams are going away in February. Just because it's expensive to keep up the restream plan. It will, the only thing I get out of it is being able to stream to Facebook, and there's just not enough eyeballs on Facebook for the streaming to warrant $200 a year. So get you on YouTube or Twitch. All of the links, of course, are in the link tree. To continue watching the build streams and the Frankie Play streams and any other streams we do. I remember Spyro, those friggin' dragon egg thieves got on my nerves. That already sounds bad. I don't even know what it is. Spyro's a purple dragon, right? I'm having vague memories of. My 54-year-old brain is firing up some neurons. Okay, that's not too bad. We can work with this. Here's one. Wow, we're actually getting through this pretty handily. Handily! See? There, that's humor. Very funny and so forth. Nothing's more attractive than laughing at your own jokes. The best color. You're not wrong. I do have some purple fleece. We could do Murray purple, but Frankie's purple, right? So I still like the pink. The pink is a good idea. I have to place a new fabric order from our friends at Weird Kid soon, and I think pink is going to be one of the colors that I get. I just like making pink puppets in general. They're always fun. Right. The thumb. What's that? That's okay. Where did I put the wire? The wire is very well camouflaged on this surface. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of different ways to do hands, of course. I know that sometimes people just do like a bent wire around the entire circumference. I have like a jig that you can like make the hand shape out of. This I find, if I pre-twist the wire, in the previous live stream I did this. I put the wire in a vise and I kind of fold it in half, and I put the wire one end in a vise and the other end in a hand drill, and I just turn the drill on and it makes this nice twisted wire, and then I just cut them to pieces. This is, I have found, the fastest way, the sort of tidiest way to get this done. Well, I like putting a semi-rigid plate in the middle of a hand. It helps hold structure. It just feels nice. It's a nice thing. And also I can glue the arm rod directly onto this, and I don't do the little pocket thing, right? The pocket thing is really good to do if you know you're going to be swapping out arm rods and stuff, but for most of my shop builds, of course, that's not how they're designed. So I got to put it in a permanent rod rather than the semi-permanent that uses a little pocket. Although we will do the little pocket on stream sometime. It's a good technique to learn. It's just time consuming. It's an extra few steps that for most of my shop builds is not appropriate. But it is still a good pro puppet technique to learn. It's the BJ Geyer / Swazzle thing. I have seen both of them do that. Are you putting a hole in the hand plate? So there are holes already for the finger loops. That's the only holes that they're going to be in the hand plates. I just hot glue the arm rod directly onto this. I also love it because it makes it super secure and well built, rather than just wire in the hand that can snap and cause issues. Exactly, yeah. This will aid in the longevity, as you say. Quite so. I mean, every technique has advantages and disadvantages. This just has the most number of advantages to the least number of disadvantages relative to what it is, right? It's still time consuming. I wish there was a quicker way, but I haven't found it. And I have looked. I think Rick Lion does pockets too. I saw him make one for that puppet for Adam Savage he made. Yeah, it's very, very common. All the big professional style puppets that they know they're going to get a lot of heavy use out of, and you got to use on film sets and TV sets and stuff. You always do the pocket, because then it's possible to remove the arm rod and replace it, because arm rods are always getting damaged and bent up and destroyed on a film set. So you want to be able. It's not meant to be a removable arm rod so much as it's meant to be a replaceable arm rod. That's what the pockets are for. You still stitch it up. Like, it's not that you can just pull it out and put another one in. You have to pull the stitches out, pull the thing out, and then replace it. But it is possible and easier to replace the arm rod. These are not. These are permanent. And that's the reason for the pockets. There we go. Wow, that got done much faster than I expected. I'm gonna take a quick break because I got Sharpie ink all over my fingers. I gotta go wash my hands. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm also gonna get a coffee too, so this might be a bit longer of a break than normal. Be right back. Screen is here. Here we go. And he's back. Hello. I have to build 8 hands for my monsters, and that's gonna take a while to do. Yeah. Hello, Jojo. How you doing? Nice to see you. More kudos on your Wembley build. I watched your most recent video. I'm gonna take a little break here. Yeah, I remember years ago, wow, it feels weird to say literally years ago, I was building a puppet, and I had got some Sharpie ink on my fingers and I didn't realize it, and it was a light colored fleece. And I touched the fleece, and big ugly streak down the fleece, and there was nothing I could do about it. I couldn't fix it. I literally just had to pull the skin off and make a new one. It was like, oh, this fleece ain't cheap, so. We have a user called Pinecone. Look at the chat. The Pinecone is on the Discord as well. Join the Discord. I don't have a button for the Discord. I should have a button for the Discord. But you could listen to the podcast. I don't even need to pitch the podcast anymore. We've already hit our goal. It's fine. Yeah. Be aware of stuff like that. If you're particularly when you're around fabrics, wash your hands, because you never know. Sometimes you just can't do anything. Join the Discord. Thank you, Pinecone. Yeah. So here's the dilemma I'm currently facing, because we're having a casual day. There is a bit of a snowstorm happening outside, and I don't really want to open the window. And the next step is doing gluing and doing heat gun stuff, and all that stuff is going to involve having to open the window. If you say Pinecone 3 times, they appear. It's true. I'm starting to do assembly line parts because it's easy for me. Yeah. Oh, I do the same thing. I'm with you. I usually, but this is an unusual build in that this is just something for the show. So I'm only building one at a time. But it's like I was saying earlier, I usually build at least 2 at a time. So I just, I'll do batches of arm rods and batches of finger loops, and yeah, that's it. And it's just, design wise, you still, no matter, even if you're building a lot, you still have to, of course, pay attention to every single puppet just to give them that life and that personality. But components are components, finger loops are finger loops, so you can do those in batches, and it's not going to take away from the design of the puppet, right? What was I talking about? Oh yes, the window. So I don't really want to open the window right now while the snowstorm is happening, because it's literally snow is going to come in. So I'm trying to think of things that we can do without having to open the window right now. And I'm at a bit of a loss, because everything I need to do now is all requires ventilation. Maybe we can do Murray's ears. Maybe I don't have a design for Murray's ears yet. We can design Murray's ears. I think that's probably next. But we're gonna have a little coffee break first. We got a whole hour left. I don't know if it's gonna take an hour to design Murray's ears. We may have to just bite the bullet and open the window. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah, how y'all doing? This is a much more casual stream than it usually is. That's because I'm not in a hurry to do anything. We're having a kind of celebration day because of the success of the Pixels and Puppets podcast. I'm warming up my podcast voice. Don't worry, I don't talk like that on the podcast. I just talk like me. Oh, I need a coffee break while building puppets. Oh, I fear I may be drinking too much coffee. I'm one of those people that caffeine doesn't really affect. I only feel a little bit of an effect from it, so I just down it. I'm just going all over the shop, but we're having a nice casual build day, which is always nice. I've been really going at it for 3 weeks now, just to try to restock the shop. And I gotta say, it's not bad. Like, I've already sold some of the puppets I just put up on the shop. So I have to, to restock again. But it's very, very rewarding. So thank you to everybody. It keeps the lights on. It keeps this going, right? So that's really great. I know JB can't hear me, but I hope JB's having some fun in the server room with the ear protection on. That I can't even imagine. We used to have back literally 98-ish when I had my first web development job, and we had a server room in the facility itself that was all climate controlled. It was like this big giant aquarium, Boy, oh boy, that I can understand having to use the ear protection because it was just with all the fans going. It literally had to be climate controlled, like especially air conditioned separately because the heat generated from those things is just enormous. I can empathize with the ear protection. That's one thing I haven't needed yet for weapon building. It can get loud with some of the power tools, but never quite that loud. Oh, this is nice. Nice to have a relaxing. Here's a tongue twister. Oh no! Don't give me tongue twisters. Scarlet keeps trying to get me to do tongue twisters on the podcast. Robert rolled reddish radishes around the ring of rubber rubbish. Okay, I almost got there. It's not perfect, but what is? I should probably pick up the pace if you all are giving me tongue twisters to do. I should probably get moving. Okay, let's design some ears. Let's do it. We're gonna go to the top cam. Hey, that button didn't work. There we go. Maybe we'll get Frankie out again. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Oh, get the Murray build down. Let me get these out of the way because we're not going to be doing anything with these for the moment. And we'll get Murray. We always do dad jokes. Oh, we got nothing but dad jokes. I'm not even a dad. I'm just of the right age. So, ears. The way I usually do these kind of things is I'll just get a piece of cardstock and start drawing shapes. And I think would be good. So get some cardstock. One advantage of having a very small studio is everything is always within arm's reach. Get a piece of cardstock here. I already have a bunch of ear templates, but I think we want to do something original for Murray. Murray's worth it. Have a pencil. Okay, so I got the actual pup in front of me here. You can see that in the shoulder cam here. So I'm just kind of getting an idea of the size, and I know for Murray's personality that I want the ears to kind of go up. He's very high energy. He's very kind of awake and active and excited. So the ears should go up. And I don't know if I want too much of a Tim Burton-y curl on them. That's also kind of hard to do in the material, but we definitely want, you know, I don't know how well, yeah, you can see that. We also need to make these slightly smaller than what we want the end product to be, just because with the foam and then the fleece, it's going to add some bulk to this. So, and the other thing to remember is it's going on, like the head is curved, so we have to make sure to make the base curved as well. Not overly so, because there's lots of fur here and stuff, and that'll hide the end point. But, and if we're gonna do the joke that Murray's ears are just coming in, because for some reason trolls don't develop their ears until puberty, you shouldn't make them too big. He's still young, right? So, you know, let's not go too wacky with them. I think what I might do, because I'm gonna make these out of fleece, but maybe I'll put some fur tufts on the end just so they're extra, get a little secondary motion going. But what I find I like to do with ears at the base here, instead of just going straight in, I like to give a little, you know, like this is how ears actually are. There's a little rounded bit at the base, lobe kind of deal. This is very oracle-y, actually. The oracle's ears are very much like this, because I also drew them. Surprise, surprise. This isn't bad. I think this will work. Let's cut it out and put it on the head and see what happens. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, I'm gonna fold this in half and cut out 2 at the same time so we can put them both on the head and see how they look, you know, symmetry wise. Get my junk scissors for cutting. Oh no, we got, now, is this how, I should really get more excited and start yelling about things, because if we're doing knock knock jokes, that right now, who's there, Slug Fan 14? You're doing this, huh? I'm gonna read it before I say it. Ach. I think I know where this joke is going. Ach, who? I think I know what the punchline is. Bless you. Yep, there we go. Somebody, Statler and or Waldorf, Slug Fan, please. They made me say that. It's not my choice. All right, let's see what we got. What camera would be good for this? Yeah, maybe we could do the top cam. Let's see. You can kind of get an idea of how this is going. So that's not bad. It seems to be okay. The size is good. The perkiness is good. Where they actually sit on the head, maybe we'll do them a little bit lower down. See, it's all right. Thank you, Slugfan. I appreciate the effort. That's, you know what? I like that. That's good. First time. We got it first time, which is not great because we got a fill time here, and I don't want to open the window. We're gonna, let's face it. Let's face reality. The window has got to get open, and I got to put the mask on. But that's good. We got Murray's ears. We've made good progress already. We got Murray's ear shape. Oh, you know what we can do? I can carve these, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the Langston Hatch method that I've talked about before for doing features like noses and ears and things. But the first step is carving these out of foam. And I'm going to use some of this. This is, I think, 2-inch thick. This is thick stuff. Because I want extra thickness, because I want to be able to carve away and create contours and things, right? So this is a lot. Maybe I shouldn't use 2-inch thick. Maybe I should just use inch thick. I've got some inch thick as well. 2 inches, I think, might be a little much. If this was Frankie sized, then this is, I mean, this is literally what Frankie's ears are made out of. But Murray is smaller. Maybe we should just do inch thick. Now here's the fun part with the inch thick foam. I do have plenty of inch thick foam, but it's in this big wrapped up roll that I haven't opened yet. Well, I guess we're doing that on camera. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I do have some that I haven't used yet, way back here. Hey, there's some half-inch stuff down there too. I gotta dig some stuff out from under my work table. There's some stuff under there. Wow. What do you know? Here we go. Here's some inch thick. Now, the problem with this, of course, is it's been sitting there probably for the better part of a year, with the bungee cord around it, and it's all curled up. So to get around that, just got to hit it with a hairdryer, and it'll help uncurl it. It's probably not going to uncurl all the way. Some of this we need to get rid of. Yeah, you know what? That's enough to do a couple of years. I'm going to have some cleaning to do after this stream. Boy. But here we go. So this piece is all kind of curled up. You can see, just going to hit with a hairdryer, and it'll help. I think the filter is still on the mic. Let me just check. I'm gonna get to the, here we go. The filter might still be on the mic, so you may not hear this. We'll see. Yeah, it's a big roll. That's what I buy. What I make a lot of puppets, you know. So. Yep, you can't hear this. This must sound weird to you. It's very loud to me. Good enough. Okay, so we have our ears here. Now these, as with everything I do, these are not going to end up perfectly symmetrical. I don't even worry about that. I like some organic asymmetry. I'm no Phil Fletcher. Phil Fletcher is frighteningly symmetrical with his work, and I greatly admire it. But I've never been able to achieve that level of symmetry, so I've decided to embrace asymmetry. It's not an excuse at all. So I don't worry about trying to make these exactly the same. Just get as close as I can. Go. Of course, we mirror it. So what I am going to do as I'm carving this out is I want to do like a little ridge. I want to give this some, like scoop this out. I don't know, Joe. I don't understand. I think Phil is a robot. I think at least part of his brain is like an alien robot that is just like he can just see math. You know, it just happens. It's inhuman what Phil is able to accomplish. I hope Phil never sees this. it's beyond my comprehension how he is able to, and at the speed at which he works. It's just, yeah, he's a cyborg. It has to be. There's no other explanation. Hi, Phil. I hope you never see this. Yes, I'm just going to trace a little channel that we're going to carve out, and this will be a nice sort of contours on the ear. I'm a DM in a clip. Thank you. Could you imagine if Phil Fletcher ever dropped by the stream? I would just die. Okay, now this is always fun because this is really thick foam. This is inch thick. I feel it takes a while to build hands. Oh, I know. I remember, I think it was on Anna Krutinger's podcast that Phil was talking about his dislike of building hands. Nobody likes building hands. It's true. It's the universal law of puppet building. What we got to do is find one person who actually likes building hands and outsource all of our hands to that person. They will be the busiest single-purpose puppet builder in the entire industry. I want to say I talked to somebody once who was like, I don't like building hands. Yeah, you know what? If anybody could make $1 million out of puppet building, we'd be doing it by now. If only. Maybe when the Operation Puppet Empire takes off and I'm sitting on the puppet throne. Unlikely. This is where we have to be very careful getting our fingers close to the razor blade. Okay, there we go. So we've got our basic shapes cut out. I said, you don't want an empire. Oh, you are right there. So what I usually do when I'm gonna carve some contours and things. So we know that, I mean, basically we want to make this 3D, right? So we've come to this point. So now we're gonna go in like that. And I'm basically gonna carve this down to a 1/2 inch. So this little like chunk here is what we're gonna carve out. I'm not the best foam carver in the world, but this kind of stuff is not terribly difficult. You do have to be careful because you are swinging a razor blade around. So, pro tip, don't slice your fingers off. But this kind of thing isn't terribly difficult. Now, on the puppet building stream, we'll discuss colonialism. We'll save that for the podcast. Look, I'm trying to be better at marketing. I'm not good at it. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of feeling my way around and going in about as thick as I think it should be. It's probably not quite right, but I'm just kind of carving away a little bit at a time, trying to stay within the boundaries that I've drawn. You don't have to worry about going a little too far because we are going to glue this. This is going to be literally covered in glue, so it's it'll even if you cut off a bit that you didn't mean to cut off, you can always reattach it. It's not that bad. This is how Frankie's ears were built. This is how the Oracle's ears. This is how all of my ears that are this style of ears are done. And you just kind of peel away, being very careful where the razor blade is. Never push on a razor blade. If you have to push, the blade is not sharp enough, get a new blade. You go through a lot. Better to get a new blade than a new finger. So there we go. We have a very, now again, this is very crude. This is, you know, we're gonna refine this and we're gonna round it off and all that good stuff. I did that to my head, a permanent scar. Ooh, I've been relatively lucky. I haven't had very many injuries, and none of them serious. Watch today be the day, live on stream. Dude, this is always the dangerous part right here, because you're kind of going in blind. All right, here we go. Focus, because this is the dangerous bit. So of course, my brain takes this moment to go, you need some coffee. I do need some coffee, but after this. That's not too bad. Okay, there we go. Super hard part's done. So you see all we've got, I mean, this is still real basic, real crude, right? We just carved out like a little channel that we've drawn. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna refine this a little bit with some scissors And then we're gonna round it off and smooth it off with the sweater defuzzer. And that's my little secret for that. I'm gonna have some coffee. I got half a cup, less than half a cup, and that's all the coffee I got left. But that's enough. I've had plenty today. Whew. 12:23 currently. Okay. I'm stalling for time. Kermit's arm is bothering me. I gotta do something about that. Oh. Yes, Indieskeep, you were talking about your goblin. I think I'm gonna do I was again. Sorry, I just did completely hijacked your conversation. Well, and as you say, like your sloppy sewing shows. Talking about tongue twisters. That'll happen. Like you'll get better with practice. And I mean, I look back on even the first puppets I sold, and I feel kind of weird about this because like I've made improvements to designs and build techniques even after the shop opened. And so the puppets that I'm selling now generally are probably a little bit better build quality than the ones I sold originally. But I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? I just make sure that everything I sell is good and will last, but it definitely gets better with practice. It's just this is the way things are. You gotta start somewhere, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, it's nice too to be able to go back and kind of go, oh wow, this is much better than I used to do. Doing this kind of thing, this kind of foam carving, I never even tried to do this before, and now the fact that I can make like a good looking ear or something, without even really thinking about it, right? It's like it's just second nature. You just gotta get in and do it. The first time actually doing majority of hand sewing. Yeah, that's always the thing. And particularly just learning the stitches and how, like doing small stitches, doing tight stitches, that kind of thing. It just gets better as you do it more, right? And that's the secret. Everyone starts somewhere, and it's not going to be perfect. And you don't try and be perfect. You just try and get it done. And the perfection will eventually find its level. Oh, let's try to take a peek and see if the snow is stopping. Doesn't look like it. Oh well. We got more foam carving to do here, so we'll do that. Okay. I wonder what camera would be good for this actually, because usually when I do the foam carving, I do it over the garbage, of course, so all the bits fall into the garbage pail. But there's no camera that you can see that on, so I guess we'll just do it over the table and I'll have to clean the table. Look at the sacrifices I make for you people. So what I do normally at this point, now that I've got the rough shape cut out. Oh, you saw who did walk by? I don't know if that was Dax or Jimmy. It's true. It is nice to see your own progress. So this is the scissors that I use for kind of detail foam carving, and as you can see, they're curved. Which way? This way. And this really helps you kind of contour things, right? So I always make sure that the curve is pointing into the direction that I want to go, not away from it, so you're not cutting scoops out, right? So I usually just go and I just start by rounding off the edges. Because we've got all these right angles. We want to get rid of the right angles. But you just do little snips. This creates a lot of foam bits flying around. But just little snips. And again, this is like the whole process of foam carving is a process of going from a very crude shape down to the refined shape, and you're not going to get there in one step. You have to sort of keep snipping, keep digging at it, keep poking at it. You get there in little progressions. hand sew everything. I did hand sewing. I've seen Kevin do both. Yeah, I try to machine sew as much as possible, but sometimes it's just not. Sometimes hand sewing is always better. I should say this from the outstart. People get a weird impression that machine sewing is better, and it's not. It's good for strength, but it's really just there for speed. It's really just to get it done fast. Hand sewing always looks better. Unless you're making clothes. If you're making clothes, then definitely machine sewing, because you get the nice straight seams and everything. But of course, with puppet building, you don't want to see the seams. So it's much, much easier to hide hand sewn seams than it is machine sewn seams. It's not impossible to hide a machine sewn seam, it's just unlikely. So yeah, absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, I didn't start out using a machine at all. All of my first puppets were all 100% hand sewn. I didn't get serious about using a machine until I decided to open the shop. And then I just had to get stuff done quickly, right? So this is actually looking not too bad. I don't know how well you can see. You can compare the two. You know, we've got some rounded corners now. It's starting to look, get some nice contours there. Looks all right. I want to bring these to a point as well. I want to taper these off. So I'm not exactly sure which direction I want to go in for that. So I'm going to save that for the end. And all I'm doing at this stage is just finding every corner, every right angle, and trimming it, bezeling it basically. Trying to figure out how to go about rabbit ears. So I can give you some advice if you like. It depends on what kind of rabbit ears. Do you want floppy ears or do you want stiff? If you want stiff ears, doing it exactly the way I'm doing it here is a good way. If you want floppy, that you can get into the weeds a little bit. If I was going to do floppy ears, I would probably still I'd want them to be able to flop around, right? So you'd want some weight in the tips of the ears. So I'd probably do like a foam or stuffing in the tip of the ear, but then actually kind of build in a fold, either with stitching or just gluing in some foam so they wait and flop around. There's also one thing I really want to do at some point, and I might do this with the next Oracle build, is do a bunny ear mech where the ears could actually bend at will. That's a whole thing. And it's a fairly simple mech, but mechs in general are very labor intensive. I'm so well watching the show. See, it's nice, isn't it? It's so nice to be able to do that. Hand sewing is very relaxing. I love hand sewing. It's when I get I either get my podcast listening done when I'm on the exercise bike or I'm hand sewing. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. Bunny ear mech would be cool. Yeah, there is a simple-ish bunny ear mech that I could show. But I haven't actually done. I just know how it's done. And that might be fun to do on stream. Maybe we'll do that at some point. At some point, I don't know when, maybe not even this year, but we'll see. There's going to be a rebuild of the Oracle, and I'll do a bunny ear mech. The Oracle can bend his ears. Maybe that's our 300 podcast download reward. This isn't creating as much mess as I was afraid it was going to. That's good. All right, these are actually looking pretty good. I'm gonna keep the square edge here just because this is the side that gets glued against, or however you're gonna mount it against the skull, right? So that's okay to be flat. We're also trying to trim off most of the pen marks if possible. Bit out. We had a Pac-Man puppet, nice. Did you do it like, yeah, so there's a couple of different versions I've seen of like what a kind of realized or rendered Pac-Man would be. There's one that's got these sort of like the eyes are the same shape as the body, so they've got like a little cutout. How'd you do it? Also, that's basically just a sphere cut in half, and spheres are not super easy. Getting a nice smooth sphere, that's some work. Okay, so now what I want to decide, now that I've got a kind of rough, I got them kind of roughed out here. That's not too bad. I do want to bring, we're at the tops here, I want to bring these to a point, right? So I could go from the back to the front, or I could go from the front to the back. It's kind of, I think I'm just going to start carving one, and then I'll make the other one to match it. Since it's Murray, I think he should be kind of forward. So, see, and this is the thing, we're matching the sculpture to the personality of the character, right? So I'm going to start cutting away from the back, so they kind of curve forward. If you see what I'm getting at. And when you're carving foam with scissors, a good way to do it, first of all, like I said, get the curved scissors if you can. And you do little snips, and you kind of pull up and away. You don't want to gouge into the foam. You want to kind of do little surface snips. Use the head pattern for Banner Krutinger's small fry, good stuff. And use small fry body pattern and blue fleece of the Krubaki sleeve. Very nice. Good call. Okay, that's not too bad. Nice little point going on there. Yeah, I think coming up from the back and pointing it towards the front is the right call here. This is always fun because it is literally sculpture, right? You just, you know, it's almost like working in clay or something. You're just kind of molding it as you go. You can get pretty smooth as well. You can get surprisingly smooth, just a pair of scissors. If you do these little kind of surface snips and just kind of skim along the surface and do little tiny cuts. And this is usually how foam carving goes, like the original Statler and Waldorf and all that kind of, you know, this is how it was done. It's time consuming. And making another one that looks exactly like it is really tricky. That's the hard part. That's why with things like Miss Piggy, they moved to casting it, to mold casting the foam rather than carving it, because then you can make multiples that look the same. Not a bad ear at all. Looking all right. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your troll ears.
Definitely vacuuming today. Just like every day.
Particularly when you got a cat that thinks everything that's on the floor is something that is food. And they're wrong. It's usually not food. I guess I have a very restrictive definition of food. Definitely does not include foam. All right, this is pretty good. I'm digging it. Marie's gonna have good looking ears. I hope. Still gotta cover them in fleece. That's a whole other thing. Okay, I think that's pretty good. There are our, this is again, it's refinement, right? So we've done 2 passes, one with the carving with the razor blade, then we did a pass with the little snipping shears, and now we're gonna start smoothing them. Oh boy, this is gonna be a hole. Well, thank you, Jojo. That's I appreciate that. I was, I didn't want to seem too like, hey, don't copy patterns. I'm not going to give you my patterns for free. I'm hoping it just sort of like helping people understand that, puppet builders put a lot of work into their patterns, but it's also not about patterns, right? That's the important thing. It's like knowing how to make a pattern is way more important than having a huge library of patterns. Understanding why you need a pattern is much more important than actually having a pattern. The process of when I made my Kermits, for example, I developed those patterns myself from scratch, despite the fact that you can find plenty of Kermit patterns online. Just being able to know how it's structured is much more valuable than actually just having the pattern. Oh, this is all tangled up in here. This is going to be a whole thing. Yeah, no, you're bang on. You're bang on, Jojo. You're 100% there. Okay, so you're not gonna be able to see this, unfortunately, because I do have to do this over the garbage pail, but this, I've talked about this before, this is how I smooth my foam carvings. This is a sweater defuzzer. You can get these, are super cheap. But this is basically like a sander for fabric. And that's basically what you're doing, is you're just sanding down. Now, you can use sandpaper on foam. I have found this to work a little bit more reliably. And you can just smooth it out. So I'm just gonna do that. You're probably not even gonna hear it. Hang on. Nope, not showing up. But what I can do is I'll show a before and after. But all I'm doing, you can actually see it, I can do it here. If I'm just, I don't need to do this over the garbage pail, it's fine. I don't know if you can hear me or if this is interrupting the mic, but all I do is I got this on, there's a little blade that's spinning around in there, and there's a grate on the front, and I'm just kind of slowly rubbing the foam against it, and it's sanding off little bits of the foam. I sound like a robot. Excellent. Awesome. All right, now I shouldn't sound like a robot. Can you understand what I'm actually saying, though? That's the important thing. Or do I sound like I'm speaking in binary? Okay, good. So when I came to your galaxy, I was looking for my friend Phil Fletcher, because he has my math coprocessor. I just had an idea. These are looking really good. Yeah, I'm gonna show you the difference. Yeah, so the sweater defuzzer is a fantastic tool for doing this kind of thing, and I can show you. I wonder if actually, let me see if the close-up cam can get this. Give me a sec here. I'm just looking at the monitor to make sure that we're not doing shaky cam. Yeah, I think that might work. Let's see. So here we go. This is the first pass with the scissors. Right? And you can see it's kind of chunky and, you know, but that's fine. That's still good. And here is after we've sanded it down with the sweater defuzzer. See, it's all nice and smooth and rounded, and it's got nice contours. This is really handy technique. And the idea I've just had, and it should have been obvious from the start. Sorry, reading chat. I'm not going to cover these in fleece. I'm going to dye these. I'm going to have raw foam. I'm going to dye these. I've got, what do I have? I have purple, I have orange, and I have red. And if I use the red, it would probably turn out pink. Yep, that's what we're doing. We're dyeing these. Not on stream, unfortunately. I literally cannot, like I don't have I would have to get a big basin here and everything. I do that in the bathroom. But yeah, we're gonna dye these. It's gonna be raw foam. Yep, that's a good idea. I had a good idea, everybody. Circle the day on your calendar. I think the most annoying thing is when people ask for pattern for free for every puppet you build. Yeah, no, don't do that. The worst, the absolute worst, of course, is when I made my Kermits. I got to a point, like I documented some of the process, but so I would post stuff up on Instagram and stuff, and every single time, can I have your pattern? Can you make me a Kermit? And it's like, A, no, because why would I do that? And B, I'm not gonna make you one because I don't sell copyrighted characters. Like, you could get in serious trouble. I'm trying to work in a professional space here. If you never want to work in a professional space again, do copyright violation, right? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is the way the business works. Ear shaving, yes, exactly. So I just stopped posting pictures of Kermit because like every single time it was an inundation of, can I have your pattern? Will you make me a Kermit? If I ever decided to go rogue and go full on black market, I could make a living just out of making Kermits and selling them. I hope Disney never sees this. I'm not going to, but it's on the table is what I'm saying. It's not, people are thirsty for Kermits. It's bizarre. I mean, I get it. It's Kermit, of course, but just don't. Just people are putting in the work. Let them work. Like, people are trying to make a living out of their own labor, right? Like, let that happen. Rogue Kevin on the black market. I know. No, don't worry. I will never sell a Kermit. I have turned down more sales who are people who wanted me to make copyrighted characters, particularly Kermits. Just because, no, you can't. Like, even though the ethics of it, it's like, I think people should be allowed to make replicas. I think Disney, if Disney was smart, they should license reputable builders to make authentic replicas. Take a huge cut if you want, that's fine, but let this happen. Let this be an industry. Let people do it, but do it above board and license. Do it legitimately. But Disney, of course, will never do that. I think that should be a thing. I think that should be allowed. But because I do work professionally sometimes, you know, I've had puppets that are on TV. I've had, you know, professionals come to me for builds, and the one thing you never want to do is violate intellectual property laws. That's super important. And think of it also like, if you made an original design and you made a character, you wouldn't want somebody to just take your design and then sell it, right? And I mean, yeah, it's a big company versus a small person. There's a discussion around that, but nevertheless, the core of it is still like, theft is theft. and I know it sounds harsh, but it is. If you wouldn't want it to be done to you, don't do it to somebody else, right? If you have a real looking Kermit and made him say swears and make it look bad. Well, you know what? You're legit, like straight up, and that's one of the reasons why companies get freaked out over the ideas, because if people got their hands on good looking Kermits, they could just do anything with it, right? And so I get why you might not want that. I still think it will be a nice thing to have reputable builders be able to license these and sell, you know, authorized replicas. I think that should be a thing, but that's probably not ever going to happen. So anyway, there's my little rant. I don't know how we got there, but let me continue. I'm going to continue ear shaving. We have a whole other ear to do here. But yeah. So that's the deal with the patterns and the Kermit and the whole thing. It's, you know.
I still sound. Now I'm sounding like a robot. If Frankie were a robot, this is how he would sound. Beep, boop, and other robot noises. Cyborg time.
So if I am going to dye these, I have to make sure that I get every bit of pen mark off of them as well. How do you dye foam? Surprisingly, almost exactly like you dye fabric. You do, depending on how deep you want the color, you do want to make the dye pretty intense in terms of the water to dye ratio. But you dump in a load of salt, hot water, salt, the dye, and you just put the foam in and you squeeze it around so there's lots of dye gets in it. It's like a sponge, and it just soaks up the dye, and then you let it dry. That's it. And that, I can even show some of that, because I've got some here that I use when I do carved foam tongues, which are very nice to do, and they look great. But here's some dyed foam. This is just literally red RIT dye, just the stuff you get at in the corner shop. Put it in a bath with some salt and some hot water. Not too hot because you don't want to melt the foam, obviously. But it's great because it's like, it's the color all the way through. And you just sit there and soak it up and you let it sit for, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. And then you take it out, wring it out, and then let it dry, and that's it. Blood is the worst kind of dye. Yeah, I can imagine. Did I ever get blood on fleece? I'm not sure. I may have. But yeah, this is the same color as this one's. You know. In fact, this is probably going to be the color these end up being, because this was red dye. So the dye is always a little bit lighter than what the actual color is. So you want to keep that in mind. And sometimes you have to experiment with different ratios of dye to water to get the color that you want, and you kind of have to dial it in. So you just do little samples. But it's literally just like dyeing fabric. It's real easy. And that's cool. So I think we're pretty much at time here. Close enough. So I'm gonna refine these a little bit more. I'm gonna attack them with the sweater defuzzer and shape these down a little bit more so they're smoother, since I am gonna dye them rather than cover them in fleece. They need to be nice and smooth because you're gonna see everything, right? You're gonna see all the facets and everything. So you want to get these nice and smooth and clean. But other than that, we got some ears. I don't know. You do Spock. Some Spock. I'd look good as an elf. Stop it. Or as a Romulan. I don't know. So I think that's gonna do it for today. What a nice chill stream. That was just that was just what I needed, I think. It's been a day. It's been a lot of energy. Finding out that we actually did hit our metric with the podcast. That was something else. So he said the word. Pickles and puppets. Oh, question time. Would you like to see the line art of Kevin and Frankie's arse once it's done? Can Frankie bend girders? No. We go with the no. Koya, are you doing some art that I'm not aware of? And that would be awesome. And thank you. And yes, is the answer to your question. Cool. Yeah, okay, anyway, sorry, my brain just froze there for a moment. Yeah, that's gonna do it. So I think what I'm gonna do next with these ears, I'm gonna refine these a little bit more and make sure they're nice and smooth, and then we're gonna dye them. Stay tuned to the socials. I'll post up the pictures. I put it in the Discord. I'm not sure Koya is on the Discord. I don't think Koya is on the Discord. But I don't want to force people on the platforms they don't want to be on, obviously. But you can post them to me anywhere that you know that I am. But yeah, if you're on Discord, join the Operation Puppet Discord. There isn't a clean URL for that, but if you go to the link tree, it's in the link tree. Are you on the Discord? Okay, good, thank you. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. But yeah, cool. I should be starting up my new channel show soon, Behind the Fleece. Nice. Do keep us informed. I like supporting other creators, and we are down to cross promote. Another marketing phrases. He's using Anime Fruiter's Snuffo pattern. He's famous in Japan. Oh, really? I didn't know that. It's okay, Koya. Believe me, I'm the same way. You should. Scarlet. No, Scarlet is the official Operation Puppet spell checker. FYI. I post the blogs in the morning before I have consulted Scarlet, but Scarlet's always up. Usually up around the same time when I post the blogs, and Scarlet has helped me catch typos on more than one occasion. So, so Scarlet is the official Operation Puppet as an official spell checker. I don't know. Also the Screaming Blue thing. Well, at some point in our lives, we're all this Screaming Blue thing. I don't know. I'm just filling time now. Anyway, I'm gonna go because it's, as usual, half hour past my usual lunchtime. So I'm gonna go have some lunch. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for checking us out and for listening to the podcast one last time. I know you're probably sick of that. I'm a little sick of it, to be honest. think we'll stop doing that now. And stay tuned to all the socials. I'll post pictures of these up when they're dyed. Yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now, and I'm gonna go have lunch. So thank you, everyone. As always, next Wednesday as well. Podcast is recording this Friday. It should be up Saturday, if not Sunday. So yeah, cool. Good luck with your logo there, Jojo. And yeah, keep us informed because I'm down to cross promote and all that biz. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go now. Have a good day, everybody. Talk to you soon.